The better set out of these two is the... Hey guys, this is JP's LEGO Reviews. Today I'm going to compare the LEGO Technic Land Rover Defender against the LEGO Technic Bugatti Chiron. Now, with this comparison, I'm going to compare their displayability, how realistic each vehicle is, their value proposition, the building experience, and the functionality of these sets. So let's break it down. Now let's start with the displayability of the sets. Now I'm actually going to have to give this slightly to the Bugatti Chiron, but with the Land Rover you can technically change it so they're kind of equal, but the Bugatti Chiron was just purpose built to look fantastic, which it absolutely does. Meanwhile, with the Land Rover, it still looks fantastic, but there are a few things about the design of the set where you can kind of tell that it's designed to be displayed, but there are a few like sort of more obvious areas where it could have been polished up a bit more, but just simply hasn't. Meanwhile, the Bugatti looks way more polished in certain areas than the Land Rover does. So that's why I'm giving the displayability reward to the Bugatti slightly. Now let's move on to the realism, not spectrum, but the realism factor or comparison of these two sets. Now, which LEGO set is more realistic? Well, with this one, I'll have to give it again to slightly the Bugatti Chiron. Now, the Land Rover looks pretty good. It looks very realistic, but there are a few sort of odd sort of sizes. Like there's just something a bit off with the scaling of this set. And when I was looking around when I reviewed the set, particularly with the sort of top bit taken off, you can really tell that there's something off with the window design of the set. Meanwhile, with the Bugatti, every proportion on this set is correct, and it's actually been designed that way on purpose so that the Bugatti can be exactly a 1:8 scale, I believe, of the actual Bugatti Chiron. Now, let's move on to the value proposition and how well these two sets are valued compared to each other. Now, this is an area where the Land Rover wins quite easily, and the reason why is simple. Here, you're not actually really getting, with a Bugatti, it costs almost double the price, but you're not getting double the satisfaction, you're not getting double the enjoyment out of it. The Land Rover set as a concept is pretty much what it took out all the good parts out of a sets like the Bugatti Chiron, downsized it, but still kept what made the supercars so special, and it was given to us for $330 instead of $600, and for that, the Land Rover is a way better value proposition simply because you get basically 95% of the same experience for almost half the price. Now, let's move on to the building experience of these sets. Now, again, I'll have to give this ever so slightly to the Bugatti Chiron. The reason why is this. The building experience in itself, like if you're just looking at the bricks, they're kind of equal. You get to do equally different things. You get to see all sorts of different sort of parts come together. They're both very intricate. They both have a packed full of functions. But what's so special about the Bugatti is the way that it's presented. The Land Rover set is presented like a normal LEGO set, just a box with bags. But the way that they've designed the Bugatti is that you're opening up separate compartments of the box. Then with those bits you get to build it, plus the instructions just really combine to make it a really rich, and not just rich, but also a really sort of fulfilling experience. And it gives the set an impression of, wow, yeah, this is definitely going to be a once in a X amount of time thing. Like LEGO have put a lot of effort into making the Bugatti design and the building process of it feel special, and it does that. Meanwhile, the Land Rover has all the same sort of base functions as a set, but it doesn't have the same grandness, and it doesn't have the same amount of just pizzazz when it comes to just building the set in itself. Now, let's move on to the functions of the set. This is actually a pretty easy category because I'd rank them the same. It's a tie. And the reason why is because they both are filled with functions. Now, you can't necessarily shift between gears on the Land Rover like you can in the Bugatti, but also the Bugatti doesn't have a winch. Sure, the Bugatti has a lift up area for its spoiler, but the Land Rover has a special kind of mechanism it can do to open up the back. Now, I think these two sets are so similar when it comes to functions and what you can do with them that you just have to give them a tie because they're just too similar and they kind of have the same functions. Now, let's move on to my final thoughts on this comparison. So, with looking at these two sets, I have to say, the better set out of these two is the Bugatti Chiron. It just scored more points. It's better to display, it's more realistic, and it's also a better building experience, and you really see that here. And with the Bugatti, it feels like a kind of like a tailor-made, very high up, very sort of special Lego building experience. And if you can afford it, I definitely recommend getting the Bugatti, simply because it provides a Lego experience you're just not going to experience with any other Lego set type at all. Meanwhile, with the Land Rover, it has all the same sort of internal functionality as the Bugatti, but it's just packaged in a kind of smaller, cheaper way. But both of these sets are absolutely fantastic. And seeing what's coming out nowadays, both of these LEGO Technic sets are absolutely superb. And it's really hard for me to recommend one on the spot out of these two because you really should get both of them. Because there's a lot of stuff you should avoid in LEGO Technic, but these two are must-buys in my opinion. But it just depends on your budget and your building experience, so it's up to you which one you would rather purchase. Now, let me know what your thoughts are down below in this comparison. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button. If you want to see more content just like this, please subscribe. I hope you guys have a jolly day and keep building.